Hey guys, sorry it's been a while. Um, Me and Jimmy were gonna record something for you guys this past Monday, but he and I were both kind of in a weird place, and so we decided to do what I'm always talking about on this channel and practice some self-care instead. So for us, that meant just spending some time together and catching up and taking it easy. And we decided to put off making our video about veganism. And we're gonna do that another time when we're sort of in a better place to do it. So soon, probably by the end of September for sure. It just depends because he doesn't live the closest to me. He lives about an hour away, which isn't too bad. I certainly have friends that live much further. So we're gonna figure it out hopefully soon. So sorry about that. There's going to be a cut there because somebody tried to call me and I had to message them and tell them I'd call them back. So what I wanted to talk about, and part of the reason I was having a hard time the other day when Jimmy came by, and something that he and I have discussed extensively, is body positivity. Like, that's something I've always struggled with anyway, no matter what size or weight I've been. It's been particularly difficult for me after I had my daughter because my body changed. So even though I wasn't necessarily any heavier, I was like fat differently. Like the way that my body carried it was different. And so it's basically like learning to love a whole new body. And Jimmy will tell you that he's very blessed because he's naturally a very thin person, but as a male he's also struggled because he wants to gain muscle and gain weight. And when he first transitioned to veganism, before he really knew about like making sure he was getting the right amino acids and stuff like that, that he lost a lot of the muscle he had, and it really sort of Luna, come here. Sorry. I'm trying to turn off her collar so it doesn't keep beeping. Okay. But he really struggled with that. And I feel like even just outside of talking about weight, we all struggle with some sort of body confidence issue. For me, mine centers mostly around weight, but also my teeth moved after I lost my retainers. I'm really like, I've made a little bit more peace with that, but it's something I've been insecure about. When I was younger, it was my ears because they kind of stick out, or at least I felt like they did. My forehead wrinkles. Like, there's plenty of stuff to be hung up about when you're a human, because even though we are all human, we're taught we're not really supposed to look like it. Even the most beautiful people in magazines and stuff, they still airbrush and stuff to look a certain way, to make them look even less normal. Like, because it's normal to have flaws, everybody does. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the things that I do to help me with my body positivity that I struggle with. And I feel like a big thing for me is like when I'm eating healthy and being active, I, regardless of what my body looks like, feel better about the way I look. And I don't know if that's just psychological because I feel healthy, or if it's just like, even though it's not necessarily weight loss, like maybe I'm just not so bloated from all the salt and sugar. But when I'm taking good care of myself, I just feel better about the way I look, regardless of my weight. Also, just being open with my friends about it. You know, we all need reassurance sometimes, and I don't think it's necessarily wrong to ask for that, or to ask for people to give you a bit of a reality check, because I really think that none of us see ourselves the way that we really look to everybody else. Because I've thought this for a long time, like when we look at ourselves, we look at each individual part and like pick ourselves apart one flaw at a time. And when we look at other people, we see not only the big picture physically, but we also see the way that they're carrying themselves and their personality to go along with it. And when you're watching a person walk around and talk and be their wonderful selves, and you're looking at their overall picture, like, you're going to see them differently than when they're standing in front of themselves in the middle mirror and criticizing themselves. And we all do that. I also feel like, spending some time doing things that kind of take me out of myself and don't give me so much time to focus on my appearance. Like, oh my God, there's a bee. Ooh, don't sting me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The dog's chasing it. Don't get stung. Okay, it's gone. Good job, Luna. Fearless protector. It was a yellow jacket. Those things really hurt. I don't know. Are there yellow jackets in every state? Comment below and let me know if you have yellow jackets in your state. Because we definitely have them in North Carolina, and we had them in Georgia too. But, like doing something creative like this, or my makeup, even though that's sort of centered on my appearance, like, I don't think of it that way when I'm doing it. I know that seems weird, but I'm just thinking about the placement of things, and it makes me think about the way that I guess I am considering my appearance, but it's not like in a critical way. It's just very matter of fact. Also, sometimes I paint and write. That's really helpful. Just stuff like that. And then also just trying to focus on the things that you like about yourself. Whether that include parts of your appearance or not. Like, there are things I like about, like, I feel like I have really good skin, and I like that my hair is really voluminous. I think that I'm pretty funny and smart, which feels weird to say because we're not really encouraged to say nice things about ourselves. It kind of feels wrong, but I do think that, and I think that I'm fairly kind and considerate, so I just try to think about those things. Like, those are the things that are really important. Also, just like, again, I've said this in a previous video, just like spending time outside, like disconnected from your phone and disconnected from social media, and just thinking, like, get off the computer and just spend some time communing with nature. Like, that's something that Jimmy's a big advocate for, and I'm sure he'll talk about that when he comes on. But, like, it's a really nice feeling, because when you're just out existing in the world and, out among the green trees and the mountains or the beach or the river or whatever you're near, it sort of takes you away from that comparative mindset where you're constantly looking at pictures of other people and comparing them to yourself, which I find to be really self-destructive, and I'm really bad about doing. And just being around people that love you. It's not impossible to hate yourself when you're feeling really loved, but it's definitely harder. If you feel the love of others enough, it starts to become a little easier to love yourself, and you start to kind of see yourself in that whole package way instead of like piece by piece. Also, like, I just saw my tattoo and it made me think of this. Like, if you feel like you need to modify your body in some kind of way to feel better about it, like, and you really think about it and you're at peace with it, like, do that too. Like, I'm not opposed to plastic surgery or body modifications, and I certainly think that, and I said this in the tattoo body modification video, that having tattoos make me a lot more interested in having a body, because it kind of gives me a sense of control, and my tattoos are some of my favorite things about myself, even the shitty ones, because they're things that I picked and they're meaningful to me. So, and I don't know, like, I don't know if it's cool to say this, but I've never been cool in my life, so why start now? It makes me feel cool, like I look cool to have tattoos and my nose ring and stuff like that. So I think that if they continually bring me joy and make me happy. So I think whatever you need to do physically to do that, as long as you're being like safe and whatever, like do it. You know, it's really no different than like, I've thought about getting Invisalign to re-straighten my teeth. Like, it's no different than someone getting like lip injections or anything like that, or any other kind of cosmetic surgery. Like I say, as long as you're being safe, like, do whatever you got to do, man, because it's so hard. Life is so hard, and loving yourself is so hard. And anything you got to do to get there, like, just do it. Also, I find, like, as I've gotten older and just become less judgmental, like, the less I feel judged. Like, I'm definitely not as critical of others' appearance as I used to be, which makes me assume, sort of, even though it's not even that conscious of a thing, like, just the kinder and more accepting I strive to be, the less insecure I feel. Because when you're trying to be the best version of yourself, it's easier to believe in the best version of everybody else. And so you just assume, sort of, that they're like, the default isn't, oh, they're judging me, because that's not what you're doing all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Your default is, well, they're probably not, putting even that much thought into it. And if they are, like, it's probably positive, because that's what I try to do. It sort of changes your perspective on the world. And then also, like, something that I've heard Trixie Mattel say, who's this drag queen I'm a super big fan of, that I've mentioned before. You guys should check her out. She's hilarious and just seems like a nice person. I don't know. I have met her. I met her at Atlanta Pride a few years ago, and she was super nice, but it was like a fan situation. But even when she has her friends on her show, she seems super nice. So, but she's beautiful and very talented at makeup. She's a great drag queen, and she's very musically talented too. You guys should check out her music. But she says this thing where she's like, what other people think of me is none of my business. And Katya, this other drag queen she does her show with, said, yeah, it's like, you just can't get too hung up in the thought process of, if someone thinks you're attractive, great. If someone doesn't, then oh well. Like, you just can't assign too much meaning to the opinions of others, basically. And, try not to think too much about what you look like, because you're the only person in the world that doesn't have to deal with it, which I think is a kind of a freeing way to think about things. And it sort of ties into what my friend Jimmy ended up telling me, which sounds very nihilistic, but maybe it is, and it's still helpful, where he's like, nothing matters except for how much you decide it does. So that's sort of freeing too. Like, you kind of get to choose what matters, and no one can really tell you it's wrong. It's just what matters to you. So if you decide, like, my crooked teeth and my fat rolls don't matter, then they don't. And no one can really tell you otherwise. So that's super empowering to me. Just try to surround yourself with people that are gonna help you navigate, like, the negativity in this life in the best way possible. That's really what it comes down to. Whether it be the content you consume online or your friends in real life, just try to be around people that are going to build you up, or get you in whatever mind frame you need to get into to survive, especially with everything that's going on in the world today, because it's harder than ever, and we're only going to get through it together. So, well, thanks you guys for watching. I'm going to go see what the dogs are barking at, and I promise it won't be so long again before I make another video. I'm planning on filming one with my friend Brittany about homesteading this weekend, so that'll be really fun. And as always, just be considerate of others and be considerate of yourself. Bye.